And now it's time for more of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. This portion of the show is sponsored in part by Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup. Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. And by Yamaha Outboards, official motor sponsor of Let's Talk Hookup. Here we go. Another great hour of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's Talk Hookup. Here's Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Maxa, and Corey Sandin.
And welcome back. Hour number 2 on Let's Talk Hookup. Pete Gray here with Rock Cod Rick Maxo in the world headquarters of Let's Talk Hookup here right next to San Diego Landings, looking at the American Angler, the Royal Polaris, unloading their catch, and a lot's going on here down at the San Diego Pacific Queen, I think, just pulled in too, and a lot going on here, lots of fish biting, and we have a great guest to tell you how you can put those fish on the deck with the right line, and that is Dale Hightower from Seaguar. Don't forget, Dale's not only Seaguar, he's Nomad, got a whole bunch of other stuff too, right? Z-Man, all kinds of top quality stuff. Bubba's now. He's a wealth of knowledge, a lot of things. So if you have other questions other than fluorocarbon, we're happy to house them. But it seems like fluorocarbon's the hot subject right now.
No doubt about that. It's something that we all use, and that's always my favorite thing. Is there's so much great info that comes out from Dale, like things that I'm around that line every single day. Like I probably tie a piece of fluorocarbon every day of my life, and yet always pick up so much cool info. And boy, if you want to join us this morning, get in on the fun. We want to hear from you. Give us a call at 213-432-1090. Again, our phone number 213-432-1090. Phones are all packed up right now, but plenty of time in the second hour to get you through. Or you can send us a text. Pete had mentioned it before. The texts have really been pouring in today, but lots of great time to get your text questions read, and that's only available through the Let's Talk Hookup app. Free download, easiest way to listen to Let's Talk Hookup, and the only way to text in your questions to the show. Also, we mentioned before, if you didn't hear at the beginning of today's show, we are giving away such an amazing prize. Thanks to Dale and the whole team at Seaguar. Somebody's going to get a full Seaguar fluorocarbon gift pack that includes 6 spools of Seaguar Gold Label, a 20, a 25, 30, 40, 50, and 60 pound. You're going to be hooked up for the entire season.
Yeah, for sure. And if you missed the first hour of the show, you'll definitely want to listen to Dale talking about the new product that's being introduced this week at ICAST in Orlando, Florida. One of them being R18. It's a new fluorocarbon. And then what's the other one, Dale?
Oh, the Grand Max, the original, the OG. But yeah, that was out before the gold label was. So that's kind of our, what we talked about earlier in the show, the JDM products that we're introducing. And like I said, I'm pretty excited to have a couple new things for my arsenal, moving into 2025. I mean,
for sure. Especially 35 too.
Yeah.
35 pound Grand Max, man. That's going to be a popular one.
That'll be a player for sure.
Be a big one.
Well, what happens is we're all kind of, fishermen are kind of gear junkies. I mean, I know I am.
Buddy.
I've been my whole life. I've got a 20-foot Skeeter bass boat that I'm always looking for something new to put in the boat. Even with the stuff I rep, I still like new product. And the same with saltwater fishing, as I like having something else and something you have. We talked about it earlier in the program. It's confidence in fishing. Like it's confidence on what you have tied on, and that once you do get bit, the confidence of landing your catch. Because that's the easy part in a way. Getting bit, you got to land it still. And when you're talking about the species that we have off our west coast right now, it's a battle. And they're trophies. We're fishing for trophies out on the West Coast now. Like every day somebody's
landing
a trophy. Yeah. Like not just in general, like on the boat, you are going to have a chance at a trophy. So that makes it. You
heard callers they're pulling in with 150, 200 pounders every day here. It's just part of the world right now. People can't believe that.
Yeah. And what's funny is I think my first trip, I'm going to do the math and date myself. I did my first trip out of San Diego when I was 10 years old on the Malahini, fishing the Coronados with my dad. Living with my mom and my younger brother Steve was on that trip. It was like a family trip on the Malahini to go fish yellowtail. So, that was, almost 50 years ago. So I look at where fishing was then growing up in Southern California, and we can have all the conversations about albacore, but we're fishing trophies. We're fishing world class.
Yeah,
off our coast.
Let's talk for a minute about the fabulous fishing Hightowers, as Marty coined it many years ago. Big Daddy yourself, Richard, who was just an amazing guy. He was a rep, and look what he did to all his kids. Right? I mean, your brothers are in the business. It's pretty amazing, huh?
We've come a long way. I mean, I definitely, have a lot of fond memories of fishing with my dad as a kid, right? And never realized that he would end up in the industry and that all of us would end up in the industry. And, for me, I believe it or not, living out here in the, California, Arizona desert, I grew up on Lake Mojave fishing as a kid. My grandparents lived in Searchlight, Nevada, so I spent my summer times on Lake Mojave, and it's 35 minutes from my house. I fish Lake Mojave, once a week when the weather's good and the fishing's good. And just to realize that, I was able to do that with my dad and grandpa and my brothers, and then where it's morphed into, as far as not just a business, but a passion. Yeah.
Now, what is Steve doing these days?
Steve, he owns a rep agency called Mashman Associates, who is, primarily the dialer reps from the Midwest to West Coast. So he lives in Kansas City nowadays, loves it out there. Jason works with me, which Rick sees him in the shop.
You're his boss, right? You're your brother's boss?
I would say boss, but I'd always look at it as we're brothers. I mean, we run it as a business.
But we run it as a team, right?
Yeah, we run it as a business during business hours. But he's my youngest brother. There's
he's
4
still
boys.
Your little
he's
brother.
the youngest. Yeah,
and I got to take a second.
Yeah,
I tell Jason. I tell Dale every time I see him. Jason he stands alone amongst manufacturers reps. When that there's people who come. There's people who rep a product, and then there's people who go above and beyond. And Jason is somebody who's a partner of ours in our business in the tackle store. I say this often. I think he's the best rep in our business that we deal with all the time. I mean, because we have a lot, Jason, Dale mentioned at the beginning of the show, they have a lot of lines that they carry, between clothing and tackle and products and everything else. And I mean, Jason doesn't only know all of the things and know what's hot and know what's coming, but just really cares for the product line. And, he's an amazing asset to us. And your brother Jason is the bomb, and we sure love him at the tackle store.
I appreciate you guys saying that. I know he does too, and it's just the way we run our business. I let him do him. We're a family-owned business. We have one other partner that works with us covers the Northwest for us. We're a small, lean agency. We're not corporate. We try. Plus, we're all passionate about fishing.
Right.
I mean,
that's the difference.
And I tell people, and Rick sees it, and I'm sure Pete does too, that they got into this industry because they love to fish. I mean, you didn't get into this industry unless you love to fish, but it's also a business, and sometimes the business part takes the fun out of the fishing part. And for me personally, I'm as excited today as I was when I was that 6-7-year-old kid going fishing with my dad and grandpa.
That's so
I get as excited. If I think I'm fishing tomorrow, man, I guarantee I'm going to wake up before the alarm comes on.
That's so cool. So awesome. Well, Rick, you have a great text, huh?
I thought so. It was from Kevin, who's calling us for texting us rather from Burbank. Says, Dale, I hear a lot of buzzwords when it comes to talking about fishing lines. Can you tell me what the difference is between monofilament, copolymer line, fluorocarbon coated line, and pure fluorocarbon? It all looks the same, but give me the rundown on what is what.
Well, I can speak more on the fluorocarbon side. I know that the terms in nylon and copolymer, I think are in the same category. I think it's just different what are the nylon resins that they're using to make it. I worked for Fenwick back in the late 80s, so I've actually seen monofilament being made at the Berkeley facility in Spirit Lake. So it's quite a process. I've seen that being made. I understand that the fluorocarbon process is similar. The fluorocarbon resins it's just a different material. Like I said, that originally fluorocarbon was invented for its chemical resistance, and by Kreiha Corporation, the owners of Seaguar in Japan, and they a couple of the guys looked at these resins that they were developing to coat these pipes. It was designed to coat pipes transporting chemicals for the corrosion resistance. So that's how. But a couple of these guys in the lab go, man, we could make some fishing line out of this. It's got some cool properties. It's got there was a couple of chemist nerd fishermen in Japan that recognized that there was other uses for this resin so they're the inventors of it. And the 100% fluorocarbon resins they're dense. There's no air pockets. It doesn't absorb water. One of the things we talk about between nylon/mono and fluorocarbon is that one's a sponge and one isn't. So the sponge is mono. It absorbs water. It gets softer. The knot strength goes down when it absorbs water. The tensile strength goes down. It stretches more. It's like and I'm not putting down mono. I'm just saying the facts. It becomes stretchier like a rubber band. Where fluorocarbon doesn't absorb water. It's impervious to chemicals. Its knot strength and tensile strength does not change underwater versus wet versus dry. And that's why we all love it. That's why we can go out and pull on 100-plus pound fish on 40 pound.
Another thing we have
technology. And the fluorocarbon coated stuff, it's basically like taking monofilament and taking a spray can of paint and painting it on the outside. It gives no benefit. It's a marketing deal. You'll never see Seaguar promote a product that's nylon fluorocarbon mix. And, it
doesn't make much sense. Yeah.
It's all the ability to put fluorocarbon on a label and so it's 99% nylon and 1% fluoro, and then they virtually invisible. They're keying in on that concept, but we all know that's not what we like about fluoro, and the only thing we like about fluoro. So
yeah.
Yeah, you see a cheap price tag. Well, it's because it's not fluorocarbon.
Yeah. Right. And again, 100% fluorocarbon is what you want.
Well, and 100% Seaguar resins. I mean, that we don't sell our resins to other manufacturers. We are proprietary in that there's a lot of uses for fluororesins in the world, including your lithium batteries. So every one of us that's got our cell phone on us, laptops, pads, there's fluorocarbon technology in those batteries, and there's these commercial resins are used by other companies to make fishing line out of, and that's not Seaguar. Seaguar develops resins specifically for making the best fishing line for us. We don't use that in batteries. We don't sell it to anybody else. It's proprietary, it's original, and it's the best.
Yes, for sure. Hey, well, Gary, the Iron Man himself from Lawndale says, can you crimp fluorocarbon?
Good question.
Absolutely. Yeah, I crimp it just like I crimp, mono when you're, before fluorocarbon. So yeah, no, not a problem. I've done a lot of crimping on some of those long trips on the Red Rooster. And when I get into some of the bigger sizes, we start talking about 200-pound blue label. Yeah, I like the crimp. I like the crimp.
Totally. One thing we didn't really talk about is shelf life. And that's another big key to fluoro is, that line's not bad at the end of the week or the end of the season or the end of the year. You get good shelf life with fluorocarbon.
Yeah. In fact, a text here from Daniel in Santa Barbara, right? Yeah. So he says, is it the sun? Can you store it in the sun? You have to keep it in a cool place. What's funny. The story? Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder.
I still recommend treating it with respect, so that since I live in the desert, I don't keep it in my storage unit in the desert. I keep it in the house, I know that it could probably take those temperatures, but why? Why should I expose it to it? We have this kind of standard answer that, 5 years is the shelf life. And, anything beyond that, it's not a guarantee deal. It's just kind of a guideline.
Sure.
I would tell people that, if you haven't fished your fluorocarbon in 5 years, you need to start fishing more. That's what I tell people. If somebody says, it only lasts 5 years, if you're like us, like I put dates on it so that, I'm making sure that the stuff I'm pulling from is like the freshest. You guys do it in the tackle store, I'm sure, Rick, that, the stuff doesn't sit around in the back of the room for, 4 years before you put it on the shelf. You guys are rotating it. I think that's just common sense. But
we don't put dates on anything. Seaguar moves too fast. We don't need to worry about that.
Yeah, it rotates fast enough that you're not worried about it. But I would tell people, I see people fishing old packaging. Like I've seen some packaging on trips that I've been on. I think it loses its a little bit of its color. It gets a little cloudy the older it gets, and I think that's because we have to what you call clarify the product for the U.S. market. It typically isn't clear when it's made. It's actually a little bit of an off color, and you see it. I think, Rick, you could probably attest this in the shop. The bigger sizes show it a little bit more, like 200 pound, right? It shows it a little bit
yellowish.
Yeah, exactly. That's normal. But we clarify the U.S. product to make it crystal clear, and it's more for shelf appeal. It doesn't affect the technology. The Japanese don't care. Their product is made, and they don't clarify it. I think the older it is, the more it sits around, the more it gets back to what it originally wants to be, which is that little bit of cloudy. So,
gotcha.
Some people look at that and like, oh, it's old, and you're like, yeah, it's old, but it's still good. It's not as clear as it was. As far as refraction rate, it's still the same. Still got their same refraction rate, whether it's 5 years old or you just bought it. So,
great.
like I said, if most of us, if you're not fishing a spool of 30 pound in 5 years, you probably need to
go fishing more. Yeah, for sure. Well, let's jump into the phones, Rick.
Sean in Lomita is up next on Let's Talk Hookup. Sean, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Another great class here in this upper division level, learning about fluorocarbon. Great show yesterday with the historian that we had. Dale, I just want to say it's great to hear from you, hear you on the show. And I have a question about the tensile strength of Blue Label online. What's the tensile strength on like a 50-pound Blue Label? Would I be okay fishing like a 60-pound outfit with it? I mean, what's the tensile strength there? And I had my shelf life question, but you guys got that one. And one last thing is about Seaguar, you never regret buying quality.
That's the truth.
Here.
Well, great to hear that you're a fan of the product. So Blue Label, I guess if you compared all the diameters, I guess this is the way to look at tensile strength, right? Tensile strength is basically its strength per diameter. So if you were to get Blue Label, I'm just going to take 3 products: Blue Label, Floor Premier, and Gold Label, and that you found the ones that were matched up to the diameters, right? So let's say whatever the diameter is, it's the same for all 3.
Yeah, rip the 25-pound part off of the packaging, just diameter.
Yeah, diameter only, and let's compare diameters. For the same diameter, Gold Label is going to be the strongest, Premier is going to be the next strongest, and then Blue Label will be the next strongest. So that's just based on one characteristic, tensile strength, and it's the strength per diameter. So you're going to get a higher break strength out of Gold Label on that diameter. You're going to get the next would be Premier and then Blue Label. We guarantee whatever that number is on the package, like 50-pound Blue Label is going to break at least at 50 pounds. Right? It's not going to break at 100, and it's not going to break at 30. It's going to guarantee minimum break at 50. There's some variations, and Japanese are really particular. They just don't put numbers on packages. I mean, anybody that knows anything about Japanese manufacturing, those guys don't want to exaggerate. So, and there's times that we want them to exaggerate and they won't. And not that we want them to lie. It's like everybody else does this, so we should do it too. And they're like, we're not everybody else. We have a different set of standards that we bring products to market, and it's based upon the Japanese market, on what they say. And believe it or not, the weird sizes of Gold or Grand Max that we're introducing, that's 17 and 19.
Right. It's
changed a little bit when, to us reps before we came to market with it, because the Japanese said, "Oh, you can't call that 20 pound. We have to call it 19 pound." Literally, the 19 pound was supposed to be 20, and Japan goes, "No, you can't call it 20."
That's great.
We're like, okay, well, we like that weird size, so yeah, we'll take 19. So, so the 50-pound Blue Label, the question you had, I feel super comfy. Fish on 60 all day long. All day long. Yeah, not a problem. You can't pull, I can promise you cannot pull hard enough to break 50-pound Blue Label on a 60-pound outfit if all of your knots are good. You cannot. It's impossible to straight pull that.
You just can't.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
For sure.
50 pounds of drag on a 60-pound outfit, unheard of.
Yeah, that's crazy. Hey, thanks a lot for the phone call this morning. Appreciate that very much. Rick, you have a good text.
I thought so. Says, what a great show as always. Dale, I can't wait. I'm all in. I want it right now. Where can I purchase 35-pound in the Inland Empire? When is it coming?
I want to know the same thing, right?
Totally. Yeah, Pete's jumping on Royal Star, man. You want that 35 in your back pocket. And then, even though you've covered it before, also within the text was, what is your favorite knot from Braid to Fluoro? And that was all from John in Ontario.
Favorite knot, Braid to Fluoro, RP knot, John Collins knot, hands down. I believe in it 100%. And I've watched a guy. This is how much confidence I have in that knot. Is I was on a long trip on the Rooster. Neophyte, a good fisherman, but neophyte to the saltwater long-range fishery with a guy from Oregon, and he's sitting there tying the RP knot on 100-pound. And he looked at me and he goes, "Hey, Dale, am I tying this right?" And I was like, 6 up, 6 down, back through. I think, "Oh, that looks good." An hour later, he had a cow yellowfin tuna on the deck. And I went up to him, I go, "Was that the knot did you do it on that RP knot that you were asking questions on?" He goes, "Yeah, that was the knot that I caught it on." I was like a brand new guy to the long range fishery lands a cow tuna on 100-pound. I believe, we're good. Anybody's good with that knot if you learn to tie it. So, and what was the first part of the question, Rick?
Where he can get his Trente Cinco. He wants 35 pounds. He wants it right now, baby.
All right, so you could probably, put it in a search engine. You could probably find somebody, online retail. A couple online retailers have it. They bought it at the classic deal, jumped in early on the game. So I know you could find a couple spools out there. Probably after the show you couldn't. So, but I would get on it without trying to give too much. There's a couple
get it now,
online retailers.
And it's called Grand Max 35-pound.
Yeah, Grand Max JD. I'd probably type in the search engine. Let me see how good of I could do for you guys.
Yeah, he could find it.
And then when would you suspect that it'll be making its rounds?
He said like in the fall.
Yeah, okay, got it.
Like October. Yeah, I'd say October for sure. You got a good chance.
Yeah.
But yeah, Grand Max JDM might be it.
I thought that was such a cool thing to open up the JDM catalog for out here. Like you say, some of it is not even necessary. It's just cool, and it's cool to have some of those in between sizes. I thought that was a great move.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, let's jump back on the phones, Rick.
That sounds good to me. They're packed up. Let's talk to Rich. He's calling us from Bradley this morning. Hi, Rich. Thanks for hanging in there with us.
Good morning. I've got a couple of questions for Dale about the properties of fluorocarbon. When fluorocarbon first started making a big splash in the bass fishing market, a lot of the pros were saying that they wanted to use it for jig fishing and for crankbaits because of its low stretch, and they felt that they got a better feel for it. And then I noticed when I heard about that, I took a couple chunks of monofilament and fluorocarbon. I don't remember what label it was, or whether it was the double structure or single structure, but I stretched it out just to see how much different it was. And when I did, I noticed that the fluorocarbon did not return as much as the monofilament did when I stretched it out. And I'm wondering, once it's been stretched like that and doesn't return, does it affect the shock strength and knot strength and things like that?
I'm going to say no on that. I don't worry too much about the shock, the amount of stress you put the line in, because it's solid material that's got relatively low stretch. There's times I'll retie a leader. If it's a big fish, I retire the leader. It's just the way it is. I mean, if you land a 100+ pound bluefin or yellowfin on a 6-foot piece of fluorocarbon, I think it's done its job. The RP knot's such an easy knot to tie. I'll just retie. If it's, let's say catching school grade fish, I'm not worried about how much stress it is. I worry about, did it get any little nicks along the way from something else? So I'll retie that. I do a lot of bass fishing, and I'm horrible at retying stuff. I just want to fish. I don't want to sit and retie. So I got the confidence of, you land a 4-pound smallmouth bass on 6 or 8 pound tatsu. I don't necessarily retie. I mean, I know I should, but I don't. I've got that much confidence. It might cost me a fish every once in a while, but I think the stress that you're talking about putting the line under, if you've been in a major battle for an hour, you probably just need to replace it out of, it did its job. But for bass fishing situations, other than abrasion, I rarely retie.
Right on.
Cool.
Great. Yeah,
all right.
Killer.
Good stuff.
Appreciate
it,
Rich.
Thanks a lot for the call this morning. All right, let's find out what's biting.
You got it, dude. It's time for our fishdope.com report with our great buddy, the Angler's Realtor Yusuf is on the line right now. And today that Catch Report sponsored by the Fish Pros at Fisherman's Processing in San Diego, where you get the premier processing experience. Check out the new and easier online system to book your processing for your long-range trips. Now with the addition of the new team members, Fisherman's Processing stays far ahead of the rest with more same-day capacity, the finest customer service. You can stop by their location in Old Town on Taylor Street or check fishermansprocessing.com. Be sure to make your reservation today, and I can't wait for next week having Tim and Mary Lee in here.
Yeah.
We'll be talking all about Fisherman's Processing. It's going to be a lot of fun.
For sure. Good morning, Yusuf.
Hey, good morning, guys. How's it going?
Great. Good morning.
Great. How's the fishing?
Pretty good. It's picking up for sure. By Santa Rosa, the sea bass and the halibut and barracuda have been biting. Catalina, the sea bass, and yellowtail have been biting as well, chewing on the backside. The front side, you need to use lighter line because the water's so clear. Clemente, there's a ton of squid at West Cove, Northwest, and front side. There's also some sea bass there that people are getting. Let's go to offshore. Offshore's been very good. Up in the northwestern end of San Clemente, the bluefin bite has been just insane. People have been getting, 4s and 5s in a day. Billy, Ollie, all the bigger captains out there have been crushing it. As well as down on the Bonda Bank. If you can find a kelp patty down there, you will kill it. It's been really good. Some larger model yellowtail on there. Exactly. The kelps are kind of hard to find. I was down there day before yesterday, and we did not find one.
But if you find one, it's got a good model.
Yes, exactly. They are larger models. Guys are, loading up. Those guys that are running out of Ensenada there have been doing really good, the Pongueros, as well as guys like you and I that run down there and take advantage of that fishing.
Yeah, well, and of course, fishdope.com. Danny and the boys have all the information for you. $30 off a new membership for fishdope.com using the code HookupNow, lowercase, no space. HookupNow is your $30 code. And Yosef, for the best in real estate, you buy, sell, whatever, you can trust the Angler's Realtor, Yosef Husseini. How do we find you?
You can find me at sportsmansrealty.com or at Cal Realty on Instagram, as well as my phone, 619-277-2169.
Had another customer come through the tackle store the other day saying that he had done business with you, and just the best of things to say. He said that he never thought that he'd meet his realtor while listening to a fishing radio show, but just, man, Yusuf gave you unbelievable compliments and just said you were the easiest to deal with and was super, super happy. So anyways, wanted to pass along the kind words.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And I appreciate everybody out there using me.
All right. Appreciate you, and we'll talk to you next Saturday.
All right, guys. Have a great weekend.
Or excuse me, next Sunday. Next Sunday.
You got Royal Star in the mind, man. You're out of here.
Next Sunday.
Thanks, Ian. Appreciate that very much. Hey, that's going to wrap up our report. Again, Norrisk Lithium Batteries. They are here in Southern California, designed specifically for marine use. Norrisk Lithium features prismatic cells for extreme durability, solid connections, longevity, and they have that great Norrisk Guardian advanced battery management system that allows you to monitor the health and charging status by using an app on your phone. Norrisk also makes a complete line of kayak and electric reel batteries. Make an investment in the very best for your boat with Norrisk Lithium. Check NorriskLithium.com or go see the Trolling Motor Doctor or Anglers Marine, both at the Anaheim and the Lakeside location, for your Norrisk Lithium batteries.
And speaking of Norrisk, Mike Lum's back at ICAST right now, and Norrisk has a huge introduction of batteries at ICAST this year.
Ooh.
They've been very tight-lipped, not talking to anybody,
really,
including their rep like Mike. We have no clue, but they're launching gigantic, great stuff for the fishing market here.
Very cool.
So
okay,
stay tuned for that. We'll probably have more information next week.
That's exciting.
Yeah,
all right,
definitely. All right, very good. You have a great text, huh?
I definitely do. I have one standing by here. Says another great show. I've learned so much about using fluorocarbon for the past few seasons. I definitely noticed that my catch report has increased substantially. My question about fluoro, can you talk, Dale, about the main differences between the applications of Blue Label and Gold Label? Also, again, every one of these texts seems to have the same thing. What's your recommended knot from mono to fluoro? But main differences, again, between gold and blue in our Southern California live bait fishing applications.
All right. Well, when it comes down to it, that gold label of ours it's 100% my go-to. I mean, if you said, like, what is in my tackle box sitting on the tackle rack that I'm fishing out of on live bait fishing, it is gold label exclusively. It's just the diameter size, the knot strength, the abrasion resistance on that is so superior to anything that's on the market that I hate to say it, has spoiled me as a fisherman out of the San Diego West Coast. It is absolutely. I used to fish a lot of Fluor Premier, and I probably should talk about that because, before Gold Label came on, this is what we would be saying about Fluor Premier. And Fluor Premier was smaller than Blue Label. It's softer than Gold Label. It is absolutely a dream product. Yeah. But when Gold Label came around, it kind of took all of the momentum and popularity of the Gold Label and just basically transferred itself from Premier to Gold Label. Blue Label is a larger diameter, so it's stiffer. When you're live bait fishing with it, your bait's not going to swim as good. I mean, that's just the fact about live bait fishing. I think it's not just diameter; it's how soft and memory free that line is without kinks and coils. And I think that's why people kind of went from Blue Label to Premier. And we make Premier to like 200 pounds, so it was really kind of a game changer for the long trips fishing, big yellowfin tuna down south with, 100 pound and 130 pound, fluorocarbon. When Gold Label came and basically was a game changer in that, I tell people it's kind of like if you had Blue Label and Fluor Premier, and they kind of had a super baby. It's got some performance of both. I like the hard outer coating, that hard outer resin that we put on Gold Label, but it's kind of soft like Premier. Not as soft, but it's soft. It ties knots unbelievable. It's smaller in diameter than Premier. And the bait just swims so well in the water on this, fairly limp, light, small diameter line with high tensile strength. And like Rick was talking earlier in the show about fishing 40 pound for 100+ pound yellowfin and it wasn't even corner hooked. So, I mean, I'm rooting for that 100, 130, 150 Gold Label to hit the market within the next year. And I know they're working on. I know they're working on it. I know that I've been pushing super hard. I think it'll be a home run on the West Coast. Now the Blue Label, getting back to what we talked about earlier, when that's not important, live bait fishing, when it's jig fishing, when the bait moving through the water is not the issue. I mean, I go straight to blue. So for all of my jig fishing for bluefin, or if I'm wahoo fishing, piece of Blue Label on braid, anything like that. I mean, 100%. I'm a Blue Label guy. It's bigger in diameter, but it's not as important. When you're fishing the jigs as is live bait. So Blue Label is still in the box. It's just in for a different application. But when it comes to live bait, Gold Label rules the day.
There it is. Yeah. Hey, when we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way, including a big block of your phone calls and texts. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the Mightier 1090 ESPN Radio.
This is Pete, and I hear it all the time. That Jim and Mary at Poway Valley Collision are amazing. I took my car to Poway Valley Collision, mentioned Let's Talk Hookup, and they gave us VIP treatment, fixed our car, and even gave us a special price. Believe me when I say Poway Valley Collision is worth the drive from anywhere in the Southland. At some point, your car will need a body repair, and I'm confident in saying it pays to go to Poway Valley Collision. Our listeners can save hundreds of dollars on your next car or truck repair. They work with most insurance companies, including Auto Club, MetLife, Wawanesa, and more. All you do is call Jim, Mary, or any of their team members, and they do all the rest. No hassles, just top-notch work and VIP treatment. When you take your car or truck to Poway Valley Collision, the job and experience will be top-notch. Get it fixed right at Poway Valley Collision. 14211 Garden Road in Poway. Check PowayValleyCollision.com. If it was possible to improve near perfection in a lever drag saltwater reel, Shimano is the company that can do it. Introducing the all-new Talica 12A and 16A 2-speed lever drag reel. These new Talica reels raise the bar of Shimano's flagship reel again with ultra-smooth reeling and powerful drag performance to conquer long battles with trophy game fish. The addition of Shimano's innovative Infinity Drive technology leverages a new drag design to increase drag force and produce up to 30% lighter rotation during tough battles. The new generation of Talica now features X-Protect technology to boast high-level water resistance in vital areas. These new Shimano reels feature a Hagani body made of highly rigid aluminum to reduce the reel's overall weight. The palming side plate is an additional 6% smaller than the previous generation. Push the limit. Shimano's all-new Talica 12A and 16A reel, available at your local Shimano dealer. Hey San Diego, the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event is on. Visit your San Diego County Ford dealer now through September and make it your best summer yet. Get great offers on the most popular Ford trucks and SUVs. And experience hands-free highway driving technology with Ford Blue Cruise, available on select vehicles. It's the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event, and that means now is the best time to get behind the wheel of your brand new Ford and drive it home today. Only at your San Diego County Ford dealers. They'll be glad to hook you up.
For quality, the Islander out of Fisherman's Landing is a favorite among anglers. But Islander Charters is much more than great fishing. The quality of the captains and crew, as well as the great meals and service, speak for themselves. Comfortable staterooms, a super clean and well taken care of boat are just a few of the reasons the Islander is so popular. The Islander specializes in 1.5 to 5 day fishing. Experience the Islander difference. Visit IslanderSportFishing.com.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Having a great time here this morning with Dale, talking Seaguar, having lots of fun this morning. And boy, the phone lines have been absolutely packed. We're going to jump right back into them. Keep your phone calls going, and that's going to start off with Gil. Gil's calling us from Menifee this morning. What's up, Gil? Welcome to the show.
Good morning, gentlemen. I've been very fortunate to have the opportunity to fish with Richard, Dale, and I fish with Jason every year on the Red Rooster. But I have a question on the knot testing or the knot strength. Dale, what is the strongest knot you've ever experienced in testing? And also, the other question I have is, when are we going to see the new DTX 220 minnows come out?
Great question.
All right. The DTX 220 is 2 weeks.
That's a Nomad product.
2 weeks. Yeah, Nomad. Yeah, the Nomad DTX.
What is a DTX 220?
It's the largest size wahoo trolling, I guess, minnow style bait. Yeah, and we just upgraded it to an HD version, the 200s and 220s. So 200s are on the market right now, and the 220s I think are hitting the warehouse here and shipping out of it in the next 2 weeks. So you should see them shortly. And then as far as knot strength goes, the strongest knot, I guess that's always a trick question because I think it comes down to, I've seen some really strong knots. Here's the ones I fish, and I still think the San Diego Jam knot is the most foolproof knot to teach people to use. That, like, I've never had a failure with it. You can tie it in small lines, you can tie it in large lines. I tie it for freshwater, I tie it for saltwater. So that San Diego Jam knot is still, I think, a staple. I think it tests really high on the knot strength, and I don't think you could pull hard enough, once again, to break the knot, let alone the line. It's probably in the 90s. There's some really great knots that probably test on the machine better, that are harder to tie. I tie, and this is just me personally, when I fish big size diameter fluoro live bait fishing, I like a little smaller knot than the RP knot. So there's the improved Miller knot is one that I fish. It's not an easy knot to teach people. It took me a long time to muscle memory that to my brain to be able to tie it on a consistent basis.
The other one that's good is a trilene knot that's got a lower profile, but again, not the easiest knot to try.
Right. So it kind of gets down to what knot can you tie when the bite's wide open and you're trying to retie a rig at your tackle box while you're hearing people scream about get a bait in the water. Like that's why when I teach knots, I want simpler the better. The Seaguar knot from fluoro to nylon. or for just Florida mono, the RP John Collins knot for braid to fluoro, and the San Diego Jam knot for your end connection to the hook. Because it's about teaching it when the boat's rocking and rolling and people are screaming about getting baits in the water, and people lose their mind, you know.
Yeah.
So you got to go.
Buck fever, man! It's buck fever. Here we go. Yeah. Hey, Dale, what are the worst knots that you've tested?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, you know, I moved. I think just the improved clench knot that we all grew up fishing.
Yeah,
I think that
totally.
That one is
that the worst?
The world's moved. I wouldn't say the worst that I've fished, because I think that's the knot that learned to tie.
Everybody learned to tie.
Right.
Wyatt's never going to know how to tie an improved clinch knot.
No?
I'm never going to teach him that. No.
See,
and then,
when I'm fly fishing with light stuff, I tie an improved clinch.
What are you doing right now? What are you doing right now?
I'm telling you.
I have all the respect in the world for you. You doing this to me right now?
I'm just saying, just me. With a fly rod, and Dale taught me how to fly fish, so I'm asking him. With a fly rod, can you really put that much pressure on something? But I can tie it like in a second.
You can't tie a San Diego knot in a second?
I can do that too, yeah.
Yeah, I think what Pete's saying, when you're talking about 5 or 6x tippet material and super small diameters with a super wimpy rod on 12-inch fish, I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
But when you're setting the hook on largemouth bass, or you're putting the reel in gear on bluefin tuna or yellowtail, it matters.
No question.
I can't take it.
Absolutely.
I just can't. My
matters.
bones wouldn't let me do it. My soul wouldn't let me do that. There's no way.
Yeah. Well, here's the funny part is I've never really tied the Palomar knot, and I know it's a huge popular knot for people. I mean, it's a huge popular knot, probably the most popular knot.
Oh my God, I so many fish.
I just went from the improved clinch knot that I fished as a kid, and then once I got exposed to the San Diego Jam knot, when I was in high school, started taking saltwater fishing serious, I never went to anything else. Like I said, I just felt that even that knot in monofilament's a strong knot. So you could tie the double San Diego. We did stuff like that. So it's a popular knot that I've never not tied. Pun intended, I guess.
Because you can make mistakes with it. That's the thing about the San Diego knot, is you almost can't make a mistake with it. That's the biggest thing, especially when buck fever kicks in.
Yeah, that's what I tell people. I can tie that knot blindfolded. I could feel my way through that knot. There's very few knots you can say that. I could feel my way through that knot.
That's a great point.
I don't need my cheaters when I'm tying the San Diego Jam knot. I don't need that.
Real quick, just to finish up and going back to Gil's question, what is the difference, switching gears to Nomad real fast, what is the difference between a 220 and a 220 HD?
Well, for the 200 versus the 220, or so the original one, the LRS, so it was the 220 LRS, and the 220 HD. There's not a ton of difference. We definitely beefed up some of the design and making it more durable, hitting the decks of our long-range boats. Damon definitely beefed up some stuff on it. We had the full plate in the 220 LRS
already.
We already. So the big jumps in the 200s. The 200s got the bigger of the upgrade. The new ones still an upgrade, still worth upgrading, but the big difference you're going to see in the 200s.
So the 200 was like the first big Nomad on scene. It became a fantastic Wahoo lure. It got bites like a son of a. I mean, to be frank, the 200 Nomad DTX men killed marauders. I mean, they really did. They got bit so good. The downfall to them slightly was longevity. Just the way that we fish on a long range boat. Sometimes, not every time, but yes, sometimes. And so the 220 HD came out earlier this year, or maybe the end of last year. It's just that. It's the same size lure, but it's got gussets in it. It's beefed up, like you said, it's the full plate, and you get a lot of longevity out of it. They also came out with a 220, which was a larger version that was beefed up, but I wasn't aware of the difference in the HD. So
Dale, what's their favorite color for Wahoo?
The one you got tied on the end of your line.
Okay, doesn't matter.
I've seen absolutely every. I hear people, the gold glow, the GG, that's the one, and I've seen every color, including the white with the red head, which isn't typically a Wahoo color. It's like a striper color. I've seen guys, I think it's just, they all work. It's in the zone. Whatever the Wahoo swims. I get a lot of people like purple and black when the sky's dark, early morning stuff. But I've seen every single color of that bait get bit.
Old long-range guy said one time his favorite color for Wahoo was fast, and I've stolen that every time for more for bombs and jigs. Like, what's the best color Wahoo bomb? Like fast is the best color.
Fast. Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, for sure. I have a great text here from Pat in Long Beach. He says, "What type of knot do I use for my night bite on 200-pound pre-rigged leader?"
Ooh. I use the San Diego jam knot on 200 pounds.
Okay.
I could tie it no problem. There's some guys that crimp. You could definitely crimp. You could definitely crimp that. But that's the beautiful of the San Diego jam knot. You could tie it in 200-pound test.
And at nighttime in the dark, the extra bulkiness of that knot truly does not matter. I mean, it really doesn't.
So what's the disadvantage to crimping, Dale, in your eyes? And is there a difference between crimping Seaguar fluorocarbon versus crimping mono?
I think it's very similar. I think that the bigger deal is getting the right sleeves, having the right pressure to crimp it, burning the little tag in so there's no slippage, and I think I think it's user error if you don't do everything right. If you don't have the right size crimp, you over crimp it. You don't. I think there's a lot of that. So you got to really. It's a little bit more of a science. Whereas putting a piece of fluoro through a jig and tying it on with a San Diego jam knot, there's not a lot of error.
Yeah.
So I think that I'm not sure it matters a whole lot, but I think that you have to do it right. If you are not good at crimping, you do not have the right tools, you do not have the right accessories to go with it, and
you overcrimp,
totally right. And you have no confidence in that, and you have confidence in the San Diego jam knot. That's the easy answer. Like do what you have confidence in.
Are you tying a double San Diego jam knot with that, or just a single with 200?
Single with 200, I think. Double would be a monster.
That'd be a big knot.
I'll do
4 inches long.
I'll do a double with the braid to the swivel on leaders. If I'm tying, I'll do a double San Diego jam knot on the braid, but the braid's small and soft. It's easy.
Yeah.
You do a double San Diego and 200-pound. Boy, you got a fist at the top of your lure.
Yeah, for sure.
You got the big forearms.
And that's a point. Brandon Hayward taught me, and I said I hate the Palomar knot. But when you tie a Palomar knot on Power Pro on Spectra, it works.
Cinches good, yeah.
Yeah, it cinches down good. Yeah, I don't know why.
I'm still a San Diego.
Okay, all right.
But I do increase the wraps though. Like that is one thing for me. When I'm tying if I'm tying straight braid to the swivel, if I'm tying a San Diego, I wouldn't say that I necessarily count my number of turns when I do a San Diego. Just I start twisting my fingers until I like the looks of how many wraps I have down. But on braid, I always do increase them. I probably do a 10 turn or something like that. Probably 6 or 7. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's jump back on the phone.
Hey, that sounds good to me. How about this time we talk to Rob? He's calling us from Canyon Country. Good morning, Rob. Welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. Like always, a great learning experience. So I'm trying to switch over to doing some freshwater fishing, Lake Castaic, Lake Pyramid. Stripers, looking at fluorocarbon. What should I be using? Just getting into the striper fishing and don't really have a clue.
You're asking the right guy.
Exactly.
I love braid to fluoro on that. I mean, I'm on Lake Mojave. It's known for some big stripers itself. So I would say, if you're fishing stripers, definitely swim bait rod with, braid and, 3 or 4 foot of fluoro. As far as what type of fluoro, odds are I'm in my bass boats, I'm probably going to be fishing like 15 or 20 pound fluoro, and it'd probably be in that Tatsu range. If I had some spools of Gold Label in that size, and I'm just doing leader material, absolutely Gold Label. But I definitely would go like a braid, 65 pound braid to probably a 3 or 4 foot section of fluoro in that 15 to 20 pound range.
So something you'd fish saltwater with?
It'd be like fishing calico. I mean, that's whatever you fish calico bass with.
There you go. They're perfect. We'll take
that.
Same deal, With that, we're going to find out who's got themselves a full season's worth of Gold Label Seaguar when we come back. More Let's Talk Hookup coming your way in the Mightier 1090 ESPN Radio. Everyone has their go-to fishing spot. My spot is Kingfisher Charters in Sitka, Alaska. Rock Cod Rick here to say if you're looking for the ultimate Alaska experience and the best value in Alaska, it's Kingfisher Charters. Owner Seth Bone and his crew consistently deliver deluxe accommodations, the finest food, world-class fish processing, and top-of-the-line fishing experience. We've literally sent hundreds of our listeners to Kingfisher, and they all can't wait to go back. Most Alaska resorts make big promises, and they don't deliver, or they'll nickel and dime you to drive up the cost, but not Kingfisher. Everything is included. Your license, fish processing, super deluxe accommodations, amazing food, airport transfers, your gear. Literally all you need to bring is your layer clothing, and Kingfisher covers the rest. They also have the finest boats and charter captains in Sitka, all for the ultimate value. Take it from me, book your trip to Kingfisher Charters and you'll thank me. Kingfisher Charters, 800-727-6136 or check kingfishercharters.com.
This is Captain Tim Ekstrom from the long-range vessel Royal Star. With my partners Randy Toussaint and Brian Sims, we have set the bar for the long-range fishing experience. Spring 8-day, summer 5-day, or a fly-down, fly-back 11-day winter trip, we deliver the highest quality long-range voyage you will find. From our premium RSW fish storage to our top-of-the-line chefs and crew, Royal Star distinguishes itself from all others. Want to grab a spot on the Royal Star? Check us out at RoyalStarSportFishing.com or call Tracy at 619-224-4764.
There are moments that change our perception of what is and isn't possible. Cosmic shifts where the stars align with the Earth to alter how we see the world. The release of King Tide is one of those moments. This is the crowning achievement of Costa's 40-year legacy on the water, the culmination of every innovation and lessons learned up until this point. Wins and losses and highs and lows have brought us here to stand witness to a legacy brought to life, to achieve the ultimate potential on the water. Costa King Tide, rule the water.
For your next fishing adventure, check Point Loma Sport Fishing. They offer half-day trips on the Daily Double and full-day trips on the Mission Bell every day. Perfect for novice or seasoned fishermen. Point Loma Sport Fishing also offers overnight to multi-day trips on the American Angler, Vagabond, Intrepid, Independence, Guloan, T-Bird, Game Changer, and more. Visit PointLomaSportFishing.com where you can purchase tickets online. Want to go fishing? Point Loma Sport Fishing has you covered.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Okay, it's time for the prize coin. We're going to find out who's winning this full pack of Seaguar fluorocarbon. Today we have a caller as the winner. Congratulations, Gil in Menifee. You are hooked up with Seaguar Gold Label. Gil, what a rad prize. Congrats, bro.
Yeah, and great job, Dale. Fantastic. Seaguar fluorocarbon and all the different products you think. And, of course, all those new introductions of the new Seaguar product that we're going to look forward to seeing in the fall. But in the meantime, thank you very much. Thanks for your hard work and thanks for all your support over the years of the fabulous fishing Hightowers here on Let's Talk Hookup. And how do we get Seaguar?
Well, all of your premium retailers in Southern California, I guarantee they're stocked to the brim as we speak. And you could always, if you need to find more about the products, and I think even the new JDM stuff's on the Seaguar website, and that's seaguar.com, if you want to find out about the new exciting product we're introducing here at ICAST 2024 in Orlando.
Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah, of course, you talked about the R18, and then, of course, the new Grand Max. That's going to be some really good stuff for fishermen here. So, appreciate you.
Appreciate you guys as well. Thanks for supporting.
And good luck at ICAST. Yeah, you bet, man. And good luck at ICAST. And thanks to Jason for all his hard work. Your brother.
Give Jason a raise.
Yeah, and he does such a great job. And, of course, thanks to Chris, man in the boards. We sure appreciate you and what you do. And man in the phones, and big thank you out there to all our callers, all our texters, and that's what makes Let's Talk Hookup go around here. We sure appreciate you for sure, and we're going to be back next Saturday. Oh, I forgot Adam. How do we forget Adam?
Never
right?
Forget
Adam is like the best, and Adam does the website as well as the app. Adam does a great job on the app. Next Saturday, Captain Tim Ekstrom from the Royal Star and Marilee Ekstrom from Fisherman's Processing will be here. Tim and I jump on the Royal Star right after the show next Saturday. And then next Sunday, Corey and Rick will be here with Captain's Concepts, the man, Captain Matt Brala, and Gavin Harbor. And that's going to be an amazing show. So 7 to 9 a.m. right here on the Mightier 1090 ESPN Radio. And, of course, that Let's Talk Hookup app. We'll see you then.